Think about a frog resting in a glass pot of cool water. If you drop a frog in boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if the water is cool and you turn the dial slowly, the frog stays still, even as the temperature reaches a deadly boil. This concept became a major concern for the U.S. government in 1975. Senator Frank Church led a committee to investigate a shocking discovery. The FBI and CIA had been secretly spying on American citizens for decades. The investigation revealed the government was monitoring civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and anti-war protesters, often without any evidence they had committed a crime. In response, Congress passed the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. It drew a hard line. If the government wanted to monitor a citizen, they had to get a warrant from a judge first. It established that our private lives were off-limits without a very good reason. By 1994, the commercial internet began to spread into homes. For early users, logging on felt like stepping into a world of new, helpful possibilities. To make websites easier to use, programmers invented the web cookie. It was a tiny text file stored on your computer to remember login details or shopping carts. Tracking was localized. It just sat on your hard drive to make your next visit more convenient. Because these tools were so helpful, the public began to accept background digital tracking. We viewed it as a fair price to pay for a smoother experience online. That sense of privacy shifted after the September 11th attacks. The fear of another tragedy moved the focus away from personal boundaries and toward national security at any cost. Congress quickly passed the Patriot Act, which dismantled the warrant rules established in the 1970s. It allowed the FBI to use national security letters, documents agents could sign themselves, without a judge, to secretly seize your phone records, computer history, and bank statements. Between 2003 and 2006, the FBI issued nearly 200,000 of these letters. Despite harvesting the private data of hundreds of thousands of people, the program resulted in exactly 0 terrorism convictions. By removing the requirement to see a judge first, the law began to treat regular individuals as potential suspects. Around the same time, Google discovered that the data exhaust we leave behind, our searches, clicks, and locations, could be harvested to predict what we might do next. They fed this data into machines, turning our habits into prediction products, sold to advertisers for billions. This created an economic model called surveillance capitalism. Our personal experiences are scraped and packaged as raw material for a new global market. The intelligence community soon realized they could bypass legal restrictions by piggybacking on the massive data network Silicon Valley was already building. Government agencies and tech corporations began working simultaneously to expand total surveillance, turning up the heat from 2 different directions. Because these operations happened inside secret courtrooms and through hidden computer code, the public couldn't see the water starting to simmer. Eventually, this tracking moved off our computer screens and into the physical objects we use every day. Modern smart thermostats monitor when you're home and when you're sleeping, while internet-connected cars record every door click and your exact driving speed. To even use these products, we have to click Agree on unreadable legal documents that are sometimes hundreds of pages long. We are left with a choice that has no real alternative. Constant monitoring has become the inescapable background of modern life. Surveillance now feels like a natural, necessary part of staying connected. Every now and then, the heat spikes enough for us to notice. In 2018, the world learned that an app had secretly harvested the psychological profiles of up to 87 million Facebook users. A company called Cambridge Analytica used that data to target voters and assist political campaigns during the 2016 election. Even after the scandal broke, the underlying infrastructure of surveillance capitalism remained exactly where it was. We surrendered our privacy in millions of tiny, convenient transactions, watching the temperature rise one small click at a time. By the time we looked up, the water was boiling. We can't simply unplug from the digital world, but seeing how the dials were turned is the first step toward demanding the heat be turned down.